Do age statements on bourbons even matter? And is the quality of the whiskey going up as the age statements get higher? Those are the type of questions I wanted to discuss today. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me today. And here on Tuesdays, we do like to make video responses to questions that we're getting either on Instagram, YouTube, or our wonderful Patreon community. So keep those questions coming and we'll answer them here. Today's question was all about age statements. We do a lot of reviews here for the site. We log a lot of data with those reviews and got questions about age statements versus non-age stated bottles, if there was a difference in the average scores, and if we were seeing scores improve as age statements went up. So looking to address those today and learned a few things along the way as I did the analysis. So first off, focused on bourbons only. As I was doing this analysis, I originally had a blend of a lot of different types of whiskeys, but the age statements mean different things to different whiskeys. The age statement on a scotch means something different than a bourbon, etc., especially a rye, where younger age statements are even more common. So focused exclusively on bourbons for this analysis. And one thing to keep in mind too, I'm going to highlight a lot of brands on what their age statements are within this database, but keep in mind, age statements, they come and they go. Don't take them for granted. Things like the Knob Creek 9-year, that is back to being age stated now. They took that age statement away back around 2019, 2020, as they were working through their stocks. Also, see what's happening right now to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, where for the most recent batch, it is now down to a 10-year age statement, where for years it was a 12-year age statement. They come, they go, enjoy them while they're here. They can change at any point in time. The brand is going to make the call on that according to their stocks. Now, one thing I noticed too, when it comes to the things that are age stated, a lot of our age stated reviews are of single barrels that have the age statements somewhere on the stickers, somewhere on that information. But good brands are transparent as well. Even if it's a blend, they tell us the youngest age in whiskeys, and that's the one that is going to count in the situation with a blend. So in this analysis, there were 227 bourbons that we reviewed as of recording. 84 of them were non-age stated, 143 were age stated, and what that allowed me to do was break those 143 into different age ranges, such as 2 to 5 years, 6 to 7 years, etc., and see if there was a difference in our scores, if the scores improved as whiskeys got older. Now, loading up the scores, this is a quick summary here on the screen. Now, you can see the tiers of the years that I chose, essentially breaking it down in buckets. After 5 years, essentially every 2 years is a new bucket. So 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10 to 11, etc., all the way to 14 plus. Decent bottle base sizes here on each of these cuts, though when we get to the 14 years, there was only 8 bottles that fit within that, and we'll get into that soon. But what was very noticeable right away was the fact that the non-age stated whiskeys on average do score noticeably lower than if it is age stated. So there is a differentiation there. We would sway towards age stated products scoring higher on average than non-age stated products. Surprisingly though, when you get into the age statements, man, they don't mean a whole lot as they get older necessarily. So if you look at this, essentially everything between, on average, 2 to 5 years, 6 to 7 years, 8 to 9 years, 10 to 11 years, scored almost the same, an 82 or an 83. Now, keep in mind, these scores are averages, and they do look like they look like what bell curves. So you have just as many things scoring higher than that and just as many things scoring lower than this average, and then the average comes together in the middle. So the distribution on these is pretty regular, shaped like a bell as I went through them. Now, when we get a little higher, going up to 12 years, that's where we actually do see a noticeable improvement on average on the scores. Though I will say, when it comes to the 12-year age statements, think of the things that are in 12-year age statements. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, we have reviewed a lot of those ABC batches, and we love nearly all of them. So I got to imagine this score is propped up by Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. But other brands that we love and talk about all the time, Wild Turkey 12-year would be another one. Then when we get to the 14 plus, not a whole lot of bottles that actually fit that. We haven't been coming across older age statements really in the last year. And I'll highlight some of the brands that are in that in just a moment. But yeah, it doesn't really happen that often anymore. Whereas I used to get pretty steady stream. If I were to look back in 2018, 2019, getting 15-year Knob Creek single barrels or 14-year MGP single barrels was a more regular occurrence. Probably something I took for granted. So with that all in mind, let's put some notable brands out there showing you why there are some great products regardless of age statement. The age statement doesn't dictate quality. The brand dictates quality, and keep following the brands that you love. So one that I will highlight, Still Austin. We love our Still Austin here at the channel, and you're sitting there looking at 4 or 5-year age statements. Of course, coming from Texas, those age statements do mean something different. Anywhere around the US, the age statements can mean different things. Time doesn't move the same way everywhere, depending on the seasons. Another one that we love, the Nash Tucky 5 years, particular single barrels of that we have been gushing over the last year. And then just to show how these age statements work, Little Book Chapter 7 was in here because the youngest whiskey on there, I believe, was age stated at 4 years. So when it is a blend, it is categorized according to the youngest whiskey. I did debate whether to take out some blends, but I ended up keeping them in there because I thought it was interesting. We got the Bardstown Barrel Company as we get into 6 or 7-year bourbons. I have been love hunting these single barrels. They're at 6 years right now. Maybe we'll get some 7 years by the end of the year. But what intrigues me the most about these is finding all the different mash bills. Oh, the ones I've gotten my hands on so far, though, have been really good. Other notable ones, Rebecca Creek. I will be doing a review for that double oak here very shortly. I love that bottle. Honestly, I've gotten through over a fourth of it even before I got to the review. Whew. And then the other one that we highlight quite a bit is Copper and Cask. Copper and Cask is sourcing MGP as well. Some of it is aging in Florida. It's giving it a different age profile. It's 6 years, 7 years. Sometimes they do finishes, but it can come across older than that. As we move into the 8 and 9 years, of course, got to highlight the darling of the 9-year age statement, the Knob Creek single barrel. Great go-to. I have rarely been disappointed by a Knob Creek single barrel, and they are typically at 9 years, though I have seen some older ones floating around there. Seen some 10 years ones. Then other ones, Penelope 9-year, love that release last year. And then, age statements and price don't necessarily correlate sometimes. The Four Gate Kelvin 60, which was a great pour last year, is a double oaked 8-year cast strength bourbon. That one's good. As we get into 10 and 11 years, this is where we get into some legacy brands, because as we are getting older in the age statements, those craft distilleries, those new distilleries, they just can't hang at this level yet. So we got the Russell's Reserve single barrels. We hunt those all the time. I think Kelsey buys one every time he sees it, hunting down all of the different rick houses. Michter's 10-year. Man, Durrell loves those. And then we got the Four Roses. I am typically hunting these when they are around that 10-year age statement. I like to have a little bit of oak on my Four Roses. Then we come to the category that did win it, that 12-year age statement, 12 and 13-year age statement. I'm sad to see the age statement go, but I enjoyed it while I was here with Elijah Craig. We had a really good run at 12 years. Hopefully, these batches do hit 12 years more often than not. Little disappointed to see the A124 hit 10 years this early in the process of adding that age statement. And hopefully, it doesn't go down any further, but we have no idea where that's going to go. At least we got history to give us some smiles. Also got the Wild Turkey 12 years. Love those releases and all the samples of prior decades that I've had. And the Jack Daniel's 12 year. Once again, 12-year age statements seems to be a pinnacle for a lot of these brands. And then when we get into the 14-year plus, it was a little hit and miss on some of these. You can see the scores dip back down. The Lucky 7 Proprietor is probably our favorite of this group. Don't have any of those open on the bar right now. But another notable one would be the Hardin's Creek. This coming out of Jim Beam carries typically, what, a 15-year age statement. I do love these Hardin's Creek, though I haven't tried all of the series yet, just the Jacob's Well. So that gives you some notable brands to look out for and why I say there's good quality regardless of the age statement. And those are some of the brands backing that up. So does an age statement matter? Conclusion? Yeah, it does seem to matter. Things that are age stated tend to score higher. But when it is age stated, that doesn't seem to make as big of a difference. There is quality whiskey at every age, which makes me wonder why hide the age statement if that really doesn't matter in the end. Just be transparent with everything. So that concludes today's questions. If you have any follow-up questions or opinions of your own to add to this discussion, let us know in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next Tuesday discussion. Goodbye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends.